Okay, everybody, welcome back. This video is going to be a bit meaty, so hang with me here. I'm going to talk through both the theory and our actual sales script. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the theory kind of behind selling. And as I do that, I'm going to talk through our sales script and kind of how we've displayed it here for you. So you got a good idea of what you're looking at. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up. Again, this resource is available for you here right next to you. You can push the download button wherever it is close to you. Here's our sales script. Okay. We spent a lot of time on this. I spent a lot of time talking to people who want to buy land. And at the end of the day, I've boiled it down to pretty much everything is like on this sheet. To be honest, this is a very robust document. Again, I want this course to just give you like so much massive value. I hope this does. These are pretty much everything in this course has taken years to develop, and we decided to package it together and give it away for as close to free as we can. Whatever you paid for this course, again, you probably heard me say this, but it's really just how much it costs to get it to you. We don't make any money off this. So I just like everybody to make money. Land is a way I know how to do that. And so I hope this serves you and helps you. And yeah, so let's jump into the script. Okay. So how do we run a sales call? All right. At the end of the day, if you can just think of these three things, you will be able to nail it. Okay. Fit, features, and price. I have a budget on here. I don't know why I have that, but fit, features, price, FFP is what I call it. All right. If you ever get lost on a sales call, just think in your head, what did Clint say? FFP, fit, features, price. Okay. What are the three things that move the lever in a sales call? Is the property a good fit? Does it meet their goals, their vision for whatever they want while they're trying to buy the property? If it doesn't, there's no reason to waste time, right? Is it a good fit? Second one, does it have the features? Well, if somebody really wants a well on their property and they don't want to drill it, and your property needs a well drilled, probably not a good fit, right? So you need to address that and figure out if that's a deal killer. If it is, we want to not do a deal with that person, or we want to shut that down more quickly and not waste time. And lastly, price, budget. Does our pricing what we need to get match what they're looking to spend? Again, if any of these are out of whack, you either need to solve that problem or solve that objection, or it's not going to be a motivated buyer for you. Okay. So let's talk. We'll just kind of look through this as we go. I include in here a lot of different parts of the conversation and just general questions you can ask, things to keep the conversation going. How do you respond to people? There's a lot of content in here. Obviously, I'm not going to go over all of it here, but here's some different kind of examples of things we would go through, right? So first, open. When you get on the phone with someone, you want to make it lighthearted and easy. So if normally when I open a call with somebody, I say, "Hey, did I catch you at a good time? Oh, that's so great. Thanks so much. My name's Clint with the Land Co. You were interested in this property. Just wanted to follow up, see if you were interested." Blah 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 blah. Right? Open. Set the tempo. If they are not leading the call, which most of the time they won't, which is interesting because they call you to learn about the property, but then they're going to be like, "Oh, okay. What about it?" Right? So you're going to need to kind of set the tempo. And I normally say, "Hey, I'm just going to ask you some questions, see if this property is a good fit for you. If so, then we can go into it." All right. One thing I really like to stress, and you see me put in here, is don't start selling. Don't talk about you. Keep it about them. Okay. Don't start selling. Don't start telling them the price. Don't start telling them all the specifics. Figure out what they want first. Right. And if they're like, "Well, what's the price?" Or what is, I just say, "I just want to make sure it's a good fit for you first." Right. I mean, I could tell you the price, but at the end of the day, if it doesn't work for you, then there's no reason. Right. So basically want to give them permission for you to sell. That's kind of that's my thought process behind sales is I want to get their permission to sell to them. "Hey, can I ask you a few questions, see if this property is a good fit?" Yes, that was permission. They gave you permission to sell. All right. Here's some questions you can ask for fit and features and price. You can go through all those. Examine and highlight their pain. So goal is to FUD all over them. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Okay. You basically want to remove fear, uncertainty, and doubt. You want to make sure that you're able to frame yourself as an expert. If you frame yourself as an expert, the client is going to want to continue calling you and is generally going to trust you in the process of buying or selling their property, right? So here's some questions you can ask, right? Just more questions you can say on the phone. Feel free to read through all of these. So I put in here, recognize the gap, solve the problem, all right? If there is an issue, right? If there is something in the way, right? If there's something in the way of the sale, you want to recognize that. You want to figure it out. If the features are not a good fit, you either want to address that objection or you want to kill the phone call because it's a waste of time if it's not going to work. If the budget's off, we got to either meet that objection or we've got to kill the call, kill the deal, kill that specific buyer, right? No, we don't need to kill them. We just need to kill our conversations with them. All right. That's what we say here. Recognize what the gaps are, acknowledge what's going on with the customer, and see if you can solve them. And you can read through the context of this here. All right. Close, right? Let me kind of give you the short of the close. All right. Once somebody, and this is why we do FFP, once somebody has agreed that it's a good fit, the features match, and it's the right price, those are the only objections you can hit and land. Okay. I guarantee anything you throw at me, I could bucket in one of those. And so that's why I like to establish those on a phone call or in a sales engagement, is because if I get the prospect to say, yes, 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 all the things fit, I actually know from my sales brain that they should buy the property, technically by what they've told me. Does that always work? Of course not. But okay, a lot of times it does. And so if somebody says, well, I'm not sure I'm ready, you can always pivot back to, they'll say, I'm not sure I'm ready. Price is just this. I'm like, oh, just let me make sure I understand when we, asked a few minutes ago about this price, if this was in your range, you said yes. Did I misunderstand that? Right. And they're going to say, oh, this, that, and the other, right? At the end of the day, once you've met the objections, you don't want to force, you don't want to make somebody pull their credit card out. That's not what we're trying to do. But you just want to logically say, hey, you said this fits for you. Like, what do we need to do to move forward? And if they, well, this, that, the other, you can either try and meet those objections, or you can, set a time to follow up. Here's some more sentences, some ways you can introduce yourself or why you should do business with you, what your offer should look like. Yeah, and a lot of the stuff I typed out, it's things I've used over the years. Feel free to use it or not. Okay. Here's the big, if you get anything from me, okay, here it is. Shut up. Stop freaking talking. Okay. That's what everyone wants to do on the sales call. Let the prospect talk. The more they talk, it literally creates serotonin release in their body. It creates neural pathways and it makes them connect more with you. Versus when they're listening, they're only using about 20-25% of their brain. And therefore, on a biological level, they're not connecting with you as well. All right. And we could have fun and talk sales psychology all day. But at the end of the day, no person, everyone will agree that the more your prospect talks, and whoever makes the first prize is the one who normally loses. Okay. So you want to make your prospect talk. That's why I have a bunch of questions in here, not a bunch of statements. You want to talk as little as possible and get them to talk as much as possible. If they cast their vision of buying land on you, establish your properties right price, right everything, they are again going to, in their body, create neural pathways. They're going to create actual chemical releases and connections that say, Clint, Away Land Co., this property, my desire to buy land equal each other. Okay. High level sales psychology. Once you've made an offer and you've met all the objections, shut up. Okay. Be quiet. Ask them if they're ready to move forward. And if, are we ready to move forward? Are you guys ready to take the leap? You guys ready to buy your first piece of property? And then just be quiet. Right. They're to think, and they're going to back and forth. I can tell you, I've become so good at this that I'll sit on a call for a minute or 2 minutes with somebody and not say a word. And when that happens, normally someone will say, well, you're pretty good at sales. You must know that, because they know it too. At the end of the day, you want to be quiet. It's going to put pressure on them to think critically and make a decision, right? If you're quiet and not talking, they think it's on them. Now it is on them. Now they got to make a choice, right? Look for these words. How do we move forward? What's the next step? How do we get started, right? And from there, you go through, you answer the questions, you take payment, okay? I have a lot of objections down here. I'm not going to go through all of them in this video. Here's ways to handle the objections, all right? Here's the common ones you'll get. I'm not sure. I need to get back to you. I need to check with my spouse. Classic. I need to look at my finances. I don't know if it's right now. It's not a good time. I don't make decisions on the spot. Okay. That's fine. I've given you like 5 or more answers to each of these. Okay. Read them, understand them, use them as you're on the phone. But all this to say, I do not believe in hard selling people. I tell them on the phone, look, I'm not going to make you pull your credit card out here. If it's not right for you, like, we're not going to try and make that happen. We want to get you in the best property for your budget, the best property that works for you. Right. And again, you'll get these objections from time to time. The great thing about this pattern, or how we're approaching this sales engagement, is FFP. In a real estate transaction, if fit, features, and price all work, then it's a good fit. They have said yes, yes, and yes to the 3 main things. And so that's the heart of how you handle objections, is you establish and get them all out there up front, right? And then if they come back and say it's too expensive, or I'm not ready, or this or that, you can always pivot back and say, oh, okay, well, you told me this, can you help me understand that? And it's not like, oh, you're wrong, right? Like, you need to buy this from me. It's like, oh, you told me this a second ago. Can you help me understand that? Right. Well, yeah, this and that. And sometimes they'll work themselves into a sale. Sometimes they won't. At the end of the day, we don't want to be pushy. Okay. So if somebody tells these, don't read my script word for word and be like, John, thanks for sharing. If you're not sure right now, it's likely for one of these 3 reasons. Right? You need to work that into your own sentence and how that would flow out of your own mouth. But here is the generalities of how I'd handle it. Okay. So this whole resource is available for you. This took me a lot of time to put together. And I really hope it helps you out, because a lot of people get worried and scared and nervous on the phone. At the end of the day, you really just got to be confident. Okay. Confidence and enthusiasm sells. Okay. I don't know. I can't answer that. Not following up with people at the right time, not being confident. That stuff doesn't incite confidence in your buyer, right? We're doing land transactions over the phone. Somebody needs to know, like, and trust you quite a bit to do that. And so that's the goal of why I built the sales script, is that you can hopefully spark a laugh, spark a little bit of conversation with them, and get them, even though they don't know it, you're putting them in a position where they've decided this property checks off all my boxes. And then at the end, you got to get them to make a decision or not. And sometimes that can be harder than others. And there's no sales video in the world that's going to teach you how to do that. That takes reps. That takes follow-up. That takes time. Okay. I hope this video helps you. Hope it helps clear up some maybe concerns you have, or just gives you a good framework and something to start on when you get on those calls. Okay. Thanks again, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.